Today I wanted to discuss what is really one of the most important, if not the most important question that there is for us in this life. Was there ever a time when there was nothing? There really are only two possible answers to that question: yes or no. What do you think? Well, what does science say? And I should say, what does today's science say about that question? Well, the bottom line is, and we're going to talk about this, that today's science really has nothing to say about the true origin of the universe. It's all lights and mirrors, trying to deflect the central point that there can be no naturalistic explanation for the existence of our universe. The theory that most of us have heard about the beginnings of the universe is the Big Bang theory. And so, you start here with this little proto-atom, and it explodes and very quickly develops into our universe. And boy, there's lots of people who have devoted their life to proving this and to thinking about it. But it has one little problem, and it's in here. This expands from the size of an atom to the tube, etc. It's this expanding from the size of an atom. It's the ... problem. They assume that there is this proto-atom that is there. They always start with something. Why? Because there can never have been a time when there was nothing. Simply because there is something now. And you cannot get something from nothing. That is the central law of science. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Something? Nothing. There is something. There can't have been nothing. Something? Nothing. Something. There is something today, which means there can't have been nothing at any point in the past. That's the one physical law that everybody agrees with. It's called the conservation of mass and energy, and you can read this, but it's really a combination of two laws. The conservation of mass, which says basically you can't pop mass into existence from nowhere, no magic allowed. And then later they got a little bit smarter and realized that it's actually the conservation of energy in a closed system that cannot be changed. You cannot just create energy. And so the bottom line here is that this is a general principle which is of universal applicability, and it says you cannot get mass/energy from nothing. You can't get something from nothing. Again, it's a general principle of conservation of mass and energy, which is of universal applicability. Everybody agrees with that. And what that says then, in a nutshell, is no magic allowed. You can't get something from nothing. So what is the problem? The definition of science today has changed. Science was the explanation of nature, but today science is defined as the naturalistic explanation of nature. That is, only natural causes are allowed to be used to explain nature. But it creates a big problem for science because there is no naturalistic explanation of the existence of the universe, for the existence of energy and matter, because you cannot get something, which we have today, from nothing. So the only solution is, like I said before, lights and mirrors to deflect the impossibility of the situation. So they have this Big Bang theory, but we've already looked at it. It's not an explanation. This ... problem is a big one. It assumes the existence. This theory assumes the existence of the proto-atom. But where did that come from? It really just begs the question. Okay, we can't explain where it comes from, so let's just say it started from there, and we won't explain where that original proto-atom came from. There are also some quantum mechanic attempts at explaining the universe. There's a very popular one today is parallel universes, that our universe now is really only one of an infinite number of universes that sprung from something beforehand. And because there's this infinite amount of universes available, ours happens to be the one where things actually worked out. So in an effort to overcome the problems with this universe appearing, they posit the existence of an infinite number of parallel universes, one of which, ours, out of the seemingly impossible odds of something like our world coming to be, out of that sprang the one universe where it actually did happen. But there's still a big problem, which you might have caught when I was saying it. In order to split into multiple universes, there still had to exist that splitting point. There was this state of being, a state of existence going along that then in some quantum mechanical process split into an infinite number of universes. So, here's our universe right here. But again, it just begs the question. It's the chicken and the egg problem, the ... problem. Okay, so we can't explain where we came from. So let's just use lights and mirrors and say, well, there was an infinite number of universes possible, and here's ours. But it just completely begs the question where this line came from in the beginning. Then there's an argument about quantum states, how in quantum mechanics there's energy levels, and you can jump from one state to another. So in an effort to get past the chicken and egg problem, some have advanced the theory that the universe sprung from a state of nothingness to a state of being. So there was this state down here where there was no energy and no matter, and then some process we automatically jumped to a different level. Well, the big problem is this doesn't happen outside of the laws of the conservation of mass and energy. Quantum mechanical processes still obey that. In order to get from one state to another, there's energy involved. You cannot get something from nothing. At its most basic level, this kind of theory is just modern science's version of the creation story. They get something from nothing. The bottom line, there really are two answers only to the question, was there ever a time when there was nothing? And I want you to convince yourself of that and to face that. There's two answers. It's a yes or no question. One answer is no. All energy and matter in the universe today has been here forever. And this actually was the scientific explanation up until, I don't know, the last 100 years or so. People who were looking for something that wasn't a religious explanation, they believed this because they understood and knew that you cannot get something from nothing, and since there is something now, it must have been around forever. Now, of course, that's not an explanation, but it is a creed. It is something you can believe in. Unfortunately, there is a large amount of evidence today that the universe did have a definite beginning. We're not going to get into that today, but there are problems with this position, and the only reason I won't get into it is because I don't think any of you hold it. So the first answer is no. There never was a time when there was nothing. The only other answer is number two. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. Hebrews 11, verse 3. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible.